didn't.
I really wanted my laptop to work. The screen's much bigger, and I felt like I could do a better job. Oh my goodness!
Come on! Like, Audie, gas me up then.
I know. Look at you. Got
here.
the lip on, the high bun.
I mean,
listen, I put eyebrows on today.
Come on,
eyebrows
on a Tuesday, right? Tuesday.
Audie said it's giving Cinnabon.
Yes, Cinnabon.
Okay, tell Audie she's gonna have to go because I'm not gonna be able to. Oh no, it's giving Cinnabon. Listen,
I wish I could have figured out how to do it on my computer too, because I like the bigger screen, but I didn't see where you could do that. I can't hear you. Oh, there you go.
System in order. So I'm like, are you kidding me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Hunter's room. So how's the light?
You look good.
Okay, perfect.
Good.
Listen, I've been asking the Holy Spirit to activate for the last hour. Jesus. I was in the kitchen like, Holy Spirit, activate. Y'all, if you're watching and you know me, you know.
I was like, Alicia, you want to close it out? She was like, sure.
All the emojis. But I'm excited. I'm excited
because like
I'm excited, but I'm just I'm nervous all the time.
Live is weird. Like,
it is.
I don't know why, because we know all the people in here.
I know. Well, it's funny because I remember when FaceTime first came out, I was freaked out. I hated FaceTime.
People are still really weird about FaceTime. And I'm notorious for just randomly FaceTiming people.
Right.
Some of y'all in here have been victims of my random FaceTime that you have probably declined and then text me like, any reason why you are FaceTiming me, ma'am? Because that's weird. Stop. But I like it. I like
it's weird to see, like, I mean, I guess it's okay now, but it's weird to see the person talking back to you and you're not in person. It's like, what? Yes, Kiara, text me first. I need to make sure my hair wrap is off.
See, you don't need to do all that. I've definitely FaceTime Kiara and she's hit me with it. Hey, sis, what's going on?
Not right now, sis.
Please schedule these things.
Oh my goodness. Where's my stuff? I came in here equipped. Here we go. I have my breastplate of armor, my shield.
Audie said it's like showing up unannounced.
It is. And then like jiggling the door instead of waiting on the person to unlock it. Are you there?
Like, why are you trying to roll up in my house? What's happening?
Oh my goodness. Well, listen, I am still like on a high from the weekend. Thank you for coming to my birthday party.
Yes, it was so much fun.
My inner child is like just on 10 because I was like, I had a party. I had a birthday party. It was fun.
And so no kids.
No kids.
A kid-free. We had a kid-free Saturday.
It was a night out for the adults for sure.
Yes.
Mommies and daddies, no babies allowed.
Mm-hmm. It was nice.
Yay.
We needed it.
Hey, everybody. My cousin is in the building. Hey, Ashley.
Hello.
Hey, Audie and Kiara. And Tippy's there. I don't know if I missed. I think your Tiffany, is it Rose?
Tiffany. Mm-hmm.
Yes, she's here.
Okay.
All right. Well, welcome. I'm excited. I took real notes.
Ooh, you got some. Ooh, okay.
Listen, hold on. There's another page.
Wait.
Girl. There's another page. Like, girl, we went to college together. You already know. You already know what this looks like for.
And I'm like, please tell me you documented everything because
yes,
I possibly did not.
there's a high chance that I was signing your name to the role in one of those human development classes. Like, I'm pretty sure.
Please pretend that you are me in some way.
Last night, but you know what? She's here. She's here.
It's only in spirit. I am.
Right.
Help me.
Okay. Well, I guess there needs to be a welcome and occasion. So tonight we are wrapping up Caneeka's virtual book tour with her baby in a high place. Okay, look at my little, I tried to get with the program.
Yes.
But what a sweet book. We've talked so much about these pictures and how this came into fruition and how beautiful it is and how it really does look like a high place. I mean, look at that.
Yes.
A high. Yes. So I feel like, I've been trying to get into the book, but I need to read every piece like 5 times. So these were my focus point. I was like, girl, pick a few that you can reread. Because, I work in the school system. I've been at school. So I'm like, pick a few that you can go back to, read, get an understanding, and then those are the ones that you can chat about.
Chat about?
Yeah.
Because, some of these, you need more than a breeze through. You can't just do a drive-by.
You cannot. How many poems or pieces did you write? Do you know how many's in here?
I don't.
Like 100. It feels
I know
like
it's 100. It's 149 pages total, but
right.
I don't know because I added some too at like the last hour that weren't in the original. It's over 100 for sure.
Okay, I was gonna say there's at least 100 pieces in here, so it would be a disservice to kind of to breeze through. Like you really do need to go to each page, read it, meditate on it, let it hit you.
The
come
essays
back to
for
it.
Sure.
Yes, like I'm still working through the essays. Like I feel like tonight, I'm not even gonna really be able to get into some of those because I want to actually really go in and read. But no, I'm excited. I'm very excited. And I'm honored. To be a part of the book tour, I am not an author, writer, poet. I am not good with putting my thoughts into words. So like seeing you do that.
But you wrote a dissertation about child development.
But you know what? I had the pieces. There were articles, there was research, there was data collection. But this is like from your... No, that data is. Girl, that data was not from my heart.
But
me and statistics were not. No, baby.
It's essentially the same thing, collecting data of things like experiences.
Only an author could say it like that. No, ma'am. No, ma'am, Pam. Okay, but no, seriously, I am excited to be here. I'm so happy that you that you asked me to be a part of your book tour, and I do hope that I can do this some justice. As just like your natural, like an average reader,
Yeah, yes.
And I feel like you don't necessarily have to be a poet to really get into this. I mean, if you're Black, if you're Black, if you're a woman, if you are a sister, an auntie, mama, the cousin of some babies that you spend time with, if you babysat, if you are a godmother, like this book is for any reader who is interested or who has, I don't know, that experience in parenting and just a womanhood altogether. Yeah.
So the connection to somebody.
Well, let me start. So I made notes so that I can stay in order because I'll be all over the place. So I'm going to try to follow. Like I have an arrow saying,
and
we can next, go back. We
can squirrel together. So
good. You just lead me in the direction.
Keep us together because, I can be on here all night apparently.
Yes,
apparently,
you can.
I do a live one time and I'm like, do you guys want to come hang out with me now? Like,
right. And I'm going to leave tonight and be like, oh my God, if I never again. No, it's not so bad. It's not so bad because I can see you and I know that I if I could see everyone else, it would probably throw me off.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
Yeah, like, no, just you.
Yeah.
So I did write down like some things that I do love about this book. I can't remember if it was Kayla that said it or if it was Cherie, somebody, and it could have even been, is it Tiffany Rose? Am I saying that right? Okay. It could have even been her, because I was trying to like really pay attention, like what are the points everyone's making so that I know where we are in the flow of things. But someone called it a love letter.
Yeah.
And it truly is. It's a love letter. But I feel like each person reading it gets a uniquely written letter. It's almost like, let's just say you've had 250 people purchase. That's 250 different love letters that have gone out.
I know.
Imagine how beautiful that is, that you get to speak uniquely to each person who's reading.
Yes.
I love that.
Like what people will take from it. And how to make them feel, and what it will make them think about and ponder on, that they may not have considered or felt prior to. So
exactly. You know what? You should have, and you can do this for like a relaunch. Add a journal to it, right?
Yeah.
Because see, I'm the kind of person, I don't journal. But I mean, I have thoughts, and I think about stuff, and it's like, ooh, Caneeka said something there. How do I feel about what she just said? Or how does that impact me? How does that relate to me? Ooh, girl, and then you might want to jot down. So listen, Christmas, throw it, girl.
You and Cherie.
Go ahead and put your t-shirts. Listen, I already told you about the t-shirts.
I know. Alicia's like, merch. We need merch because there are lyrics that I need on my chest.
There are quotables in here. Like there's one in here. Seriously, you should have just titled it "Mic Drop," and it just should just right there. Mic drop. We'll get there. We'll get there. But yeah, I was gonna say. So we were talking about this just briefly yesterday about how I started at the very back of the book, right? There are 4 sections in Caneeka's book, and I literally, like, when I sat down, I was like, okay, am I going to read this from start to finish like a book? Or am I going to go through, like, I almost went through titles by title to see, like, what resonated with me, like, what hit hard. And it'd be like, oh, let me go check out page 92 because there's something there. So then finally I was like, I think I had gotten into a couple in section 4, and I was like, hold on, let me just read section 4. And for those of you, if you have her book or if you don't, her section 4 is Affirm Unmasked. So basically, this is like, for me, the tell-all. I'm taking the mask off.
Yes.
What you see is what you get. Here is the raw, unfiltered.
This is really, like, this is where it is at.
Yes. I mean, it's all good, but I was like,
yeah.
She kind of telling some stuff.
You get to the end, and you really, you really gotta be ready. So
exactly, don't take that one on your lunch break. That one is for when you get back to the house, and you like, the kids have been fed, and it's like, okay, Mom, it's me time.
I need some time. Yeah.
So then I did section 4, and then I jumped back to section 1, and then I've just been all over the place because I'm like, ooh, this one sounds really good. So anyway, y'all take your time. Caneeka, is there a particular way you want people to read your pieces, or are you just kind of like take it how you feel?
I actually talked about this on Twitter earlier when people were talking about Adele, like asking Spotify to turn off the shuffle because her album is meant to be listened from the start, like the beginning to the end, in order that she put the songs. And that resonates with me because that is how I listen to music. I understand like the artistry of creating songs and writing. And so I want to hear how there's a reason why whatever number one song is number one. There's a reason. And I was showing Alicia yesterday when we were talking my like OG at the very beginning when I was like drafting out what the title was going to be and how I wanted it to be broken into sections. And this is what it looks like. Like, so they're in order, like on purpose. So I would like for you guys to read them in order. But I also understand, the reading titles and being like, ooh, which one like initially like jumps out to me of where I want to start. But everything is intentional. The section naming is intentional. The order of each piece is intentional. I read through each one and was like, I don't like this in front of that one, so let me rearrange. So it was a lot of that went into it. So
that sounds like a lot of work. A lot of work. And you can appreciate, like, I'm glad that you're able to state this out loud, because if you're a nun, I wouldn't say I'm not going to say I'm a nun creative, but I don't have art that I make or present to the world. And so I can imagine that when you put that much effort into, no, I want them to read it like this, I will try to take my time to go back and read it in order. I'm spastic though. I'm like, I told you yesterday with music, I'm in the car like, number 3. I like number 3. What's number 7 talking about? 3,
now,
7, 12.
Like, as far as like music, when I listen to music outright, when the album drops, there is no shuffle. It is just my own rule. I want start to finish, and even if I have to pause, I'm gonna start over so that I can hear the whole collection in the flow of like tempo and however the artist created it. And so, but then like, once I've done that a few times, I'll pop into, play my favorite. But I'm gonna listen in order on purpose a few times. So I think about that because that's how I write.
It sounds like I've missed out on a lot of
albums.
Girl, there are albums that I haven't even played some of the songs. Like, what? I don't know. I wasn't feeling the beat. I'm just gonna next.
And even some like, and I've had that experience too, and just like, reading other people's work, like there have been some albums that I'm like, all right, we were rolling on 1, 2, and 3, but
here we are.
When Drake's album, my cousin, I like ranted because I was like, I don't like this song, but I'm trudging through to listen to it in its entirety because that is the way that Drake laid the album out.
So,
yeah.
I'm awful. Okay, well, this is great. This is a lesson learned for me. I am gonna take my time and go back and read this like a sweet storybook. I can't see the comments after the earlier ones.
Kieran saying the best move Adele could have ever made. Yes. The first 5 to 10 seconds are hella revealing when it comes to songs. Yeah.
Oh wow. See, and I get it. Like it's just that.
And sometimes you just want to skip, but I like try to resist. I'm like, don't skip.
I'm gonna do better. That's gonna be like a new experiment for me.
Okay, so visit some other albums, the ones that you said you hadn't checked out.
All of them. All of them.
For those of you who are just joining and you're like, what is up with these two girls? Alicia and I have known each other since freshman year. We met second semester, freshman year of college.
Yes.
So we have known each other forever. This is literally our phone conversation and you guys are just joining.
just here. I'm sorry. I told myself, I was like, I need to be good because this is on the internet. It's going to live. Somebody is going to replay.
Yes, and then I'm going to put it on YouTube. So it will be there. In case Instagram decides to act crazy, it will live on YouTube.
I need to be civilized.
My blog, my website. So it will go there. So yeah, girl.
Okay. Let me code switch.
Oh my God.
Okay, no, seriously. I want to talk a little bit about your writing style, because you've told me this before, probably years ago. And of course, me with my non-poetic writer brain has probably forgotten. I've been thinking about 3 different poets over the last couple of days to see if I can remember who they are. So I'm going to give you the first initial and you tell me yes or no, or maybe the first and last name initial and you say yes or no, and then you reveal to me. Okay. Okay. Is there a W-E? No.
No.
Okay. Is there an LH?
No.
No. Okay, wait.
I need to know who these people are.
Wait, maybe I should okay. If I'm right, I'll text it to you.
Okay.
There was another person that I was thinking of. Oh my gosh, what's his name?
Oh, okay. LH, yes.
Yes, is that one of them?
Yes. Inspired by, okay.
Okay, yes.
I just realized.
Yes.
Girl.
I knew it. Okay,
this may not be the best game for me. It's like trivia. I'm like,
okay. Well, since I got at least one correct, we'll go with that one. So Langston Hughes, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. See, friends listen. Friends listen to friends. Okay. So yes, I was going to say, talk a little bit about your writing style, because you do have this way of putting your words together that almost leaves you wanting the rest of it. Like, whoa, where was she going with that? Like, there's one of your pieces that literally says, and I'm probably going to say it wrong, but it's like tearing paper or paper. It's
is it a short one?
It's yes. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I know where it's at. I should have marked it, but I just want to use an example of just that, how it's like you say what you need to say, but it's open-ended enough to where you're like, ooh, where was she going with that? And am I supposed to take that and go with it myself? What is it?
Yeah.
I think it's called something about a savior. Okay, the people watching are like, girl, you should have tagged it. I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't know that I was going to use that reference. It just kind of came. I know, it just kind of came to me. I'm going to find it because it's near, oh gosh. Hold on. Let me see. Oh, no,
I was going to say, the storytelling, like, so many,
yes.
I was heavily influenced by the Black Harlem Renaissance and all the artists that came out of that time period. Maya Angelou and Langston Hughes, they were some of the first poets that I read when I was 11 and fell in love with poetry and began writing. And I just really liked, as far as like telling our stories as Black people in a way that we could understand. You know what I mean? Like, there was this, like, even if I'm not in that time, I can still feel you because I know that you are speaking to me. And even if I don't know the whole story, I know that it's something that we share as a people. And so that what you're describing probably comes from me reading and noticing that over the years and different reading. And so how I present it is, you know, a little bit different, but yeah, it may not be a full story, but
yes, but
it's something that you can fill in the gap for however it resonates with you.
Yes,
but you know
and
how
like
it may have. Yeah,
I like that because you kind of get to feel yourself. Like I said, I don't do well with putting all of my thoughts and everything that's going on to words. Then I'm like, oh, Caneeka said it, or she left the part for me to fill in. Listen, I found it. A savior is in there, but that's not the title. The title is A Magical Morning.
Oh,
page 56. Yes, but it's 2 words. I'll let you get there so you'll know where I'm at.
I'm ready.
Paper torn. I was like, what paper? Who tore it? What was happening? Because I was like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe it was this. So my mind it was exciting because it was like, oh, I can kind of visualize, like I can make my own story come to life here with just those 2 words. And so I kind of wanted you to just expand like you just did about your writing style, because I'm from the generation of the Cat in the Hat and the Big Pig.
The very, like, Dr. Seuss. Yes. Very, like, rhyming. Yeah.
Yes.
I do more, like, visual.
Yes, you do. Oh, my God,
which
I
pulled from, like, E.E. Cummings and how he
that was the other
has,
one.
like,
that was
these short, very, like, you're filling in the gaps, like, where were you going with this, but I love that, too, because it was to me, it seems so freeing to write in that way. And so, yes, all of those people influence just how I express. And then reading a lot and trying to write down like how I see what I've read. So that comes across in like the what are you talking about here? Because what I think you're talking, you know.
I actually wrote that out when I like the first page of my notes. I was like, no, scratch that. But the first thing I wrote, I said, your writing style seems to be I put it was inspired by, and I left it open because I knew we were going to talk about that. But I wrote the words vivid, imagery, and emotion.
Yeah.
And then I said, I have to read it several times to fully take it all in. And that's what I mean when I say, like, I need time to go back and read it a few times to really get the understanding, like, one, the message you're conveying, and then two, what I think about the message that you're conveying.
Just like the poem that Kayla read, where she was like, you know, and play on words. I love that. Like, peace is, you know, a piece of garment that I wear. Peace, P-A-C-E, is what I choose to carry. So that I've seen that like used in writing and creativity, and I love words. So that is just, that type of stuff excites me. I'm like, how many words can I use to mean the same thing in like different ways?
Reasons why I asked you to be my what is that, Miss
oh yeah,
I don't know, my ceremony person at the reception. I was like, if anybody's gonna get up and talk about anything, just put Caneeka up there, because she's gonna make me sound like an amazing bride, and it doesn't even, people will be like, what were those words that she used? It doesn't matter. Caneeka used the words. She put the words together.
Wait,
but you do a beautiful job.
That is actually a Christmas piece.
And I knew it. I was like, it's Christmas morning.
Yes. So the paper that was torn is the veil that was torn and ripped when
girl.
So that instead of calling it a veil, I wanted to use the alliteration of paper torn, presents presented in the form of,
listen, when I say we have talked about the veil being torn so many times
but
at
why
my
did
house.
You fall back in this chair like that meme of that guy?
Because, baby girl, listen, you're gonna have to moderate the comments, because I'm about to say exactly why. Because, baby,
it's a book to revisit over and over.
Paper torn, girl. And the thing that's really funny is that I'm an elder's daughter, so I know a lot about this veil being torn, right? But girl,
but it's never been called paper.
No, because I knew you were talking about Christmas, I was like, surely she's talking about the wrapping paper, right? The kids are tearing like it is going down.
But again, like what you're saying, the way, not what I was thinking, but it can still apply.
It can, so but then you go into
just like really cool.
Yes, but this is why I say you have to read it a couple times, because my first reading was like, oh, paper torn. It's Christmas morning. I'm putting the view together. I see the boys tearing their paper open, and then I look and I'm like, worship. And I'm like, oh, wait. Okay, so Caneeka's got worship music playing. Like they're thinking about Jesus being born. Like it takes you so many places.
You like, even in discounting your like creative abilities in relation to poetry, the way that you see things is creative. Like you have to give yourself that credit, because you've like laid out a whole morning, day in a home around, you know what I mean? Like that is, you have to have that if you're gonna read poetry. Like you can't just read it like a book. Like okay, a savior was born. Like you can't.
You can't.
Draw the picture, and you do an amazing job at that. Not just in relation to reading, but even in like our just everyday discussions of, you know, like
I do that.
Oh, I thought, or I saw, and that's really like, that's a gift. A lot of people don't have that type of imagery.
Thank you.
Ability.
I think I function better when I can see the whole picture like that.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you. I feel really good. Just
You're
thinking about the way
welcome.
maybe the way my mind works too.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, that was really just one of those. I wanted to bring it to life for just a second, like what I was talking
Yeah.
about. And that is exactly, see, had we not had this discussion, I would have been walking around all day like, that Christmas piece was so good. Ooh, I can't wait for Christmas to get here and watch Country Paper Tear. Like,
Alicia, please.
like, I feel like you say that to me every day. Alicia, please. Please. Can you put that on a shirt, Alicia?
They were like, man, they started crying early. Like, again, we've known each other a long time. We're gonna put
Too
it
long. Okay, we're gonna pull it together. I have like two more statements, and then I have like the pieces that I want to get into.
Oh, Cherie said we need a book club for this book.
We do.
Oh my God, a book club would be
do.
so much fun.
It would be great. And then like maybe at the end of each week there could be a group FaceTime or something, like a Zoom call or something, or whatever. Like do it. Yes, but you don't need to IG live that because it would be.
No, this is all offline because, like I told Tiffany yesterday, there are some pieces in here that are not for the IG live, and a deeper discussion of those, is appropriate for offline matters.
Yes, I agree. Okay, I don't know what the comments are saying, but I apologize to those who are like, "Girl, let's go." Okay, here we go. So the other part about your writing process, because I'm just curious about how it all comes together. So I know you've told me that you have waken up out of your sleep. Mm-hmm. Like you keep a notebook by the bed because at any moment you might get something and have to go and write it down. So I was going to ask, like, when you're putting your pieces together, even though you didn't, I mean, you may have known this book was coming together. I think you said 5 years ago you had the idea. Yeah. But even when you're just writing, is it immediate for you, like, oh, and then you get it all out, or do you like come back to pieces and add another line and add another thought, and like how does that come together? Yes, so it's a comeback. I'm not one of those writers that can just sit and just write. Like I feel things and really am moved by people and stories and emotion, and so I lean into those things to be able to write out whatever. So if something comes to me, like in the middle of the night, then it may just be a sentence that of a thought, and then revisiting that thing, like to finish it out. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, a lot of these may have just been a full piece, and I use my notes a lot now because the middle of the night I can't see, so I'm like, oh yeah, just open my phone now and use my notes. So it's a lot of stuff that I went to, and I created a folder. You can create folders in the Notes app, and when I knew that I was putting something down that I may want to revisit later or compile for this book, I would put it in that folder, and so it helped me keep everything in order versus because I also write and don't remember what I wrote. That's why I was saying when I was pulling all this together, I was like, oh, okay, I forgot all about that. But because I don't remember the things that I write down, I don't know keywords to type in to search for them, so I have to keep them in a folder. My goodness. After I write something, so I can only imagine. Having a little organizational system within the Notes app is helpful, and I also used Evernote. Okay. For a lot of these, like the older pieces I'd written in Evernote, and they have like a folder, so there's some organization there, even without me being like sit down and write. But what about? Sorry to cut you off. What about your reflections? Like, to me, those feel like more like a stream of consciousness. Like something happened and you just your entire reflection came together in one piece. Is that what that was like?
Okay. Yeah. So a lot of those, that's what they were. And then when I was pulling everything together for the book, I went back and like rewrote a lot of them just because they were just like.
And you know what? I
had to like clean them up and make them essay like, you know.
I do that a lot in the car, like when I'm going to and from places. A lot of times I don't turn music on, I don't call, and I just start talking. And I wonder, like, the things that have come out of me, I probably could have done something with that.
Do you record them?
No, I
use
should.
a recorder. Oh, you were just talking.
I literally.
Somebody would think be good material for something.
I keep telling myself, hopefully people think I'm on the car phone, like they just think I'm talking through Bluetooth or singing a song, because I will talk myself from here to Decatur, where it's greater. I will talk myself all the way there. But it's because I have a stream of consciousness, and there's so much that just needs to come out. But I never think that when anybody else want to hear. I'm sure there are some things I've said that people will be like, "Girl, I relate."
Yeah.
Why haven't you typed it or just send in an email and
use
just say,
the recorder.
I
use
weekly
the
thoughts
app too. When you're talking like that.
Yeah. But I feel like this, I'm holding my notes, but I feel like this book here is like a sequel to Woven, but in a different, you know what I mean? Like in a different way. But it just, when Woven came, it was like, oh my gosh, she's right. So many, like I just said, so many of the thoughts I've had, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm not the only person who has thought that, said it out loud, whatever, let it come through my thought process. Thankfully, you put yours here, and we're all at home like, yes, girl.
Yeah.
There are
little Easter eggs of Woven throughout here.
Yes,
I don't
know
if you caught the but Woven was supposed to be a 3-part book. It was supposed to be womanhood, marriage, and motherhood. But it would have been the biggest book ever.
It really would have. Listen, see, right here, I have written motherhood, parenting, relationships, the revolution, and womanhood. That's just a couple of things that came together in the book. So that's so funny that you're saying it like that, because it's like, light bulb.
Yeah, Kiera said, yes, Woven was supposed to be 3 parts. And it was gonna talk about each, the mother, the wife, the woman.
Girl, you snuck it in here.
And so so because I knew this wasn't ready to be what I wanted it to be when Woven came out, and it was just so much that I was still growing and learning and discovering. I was like, I'm just gonna I want the motherhood to be a standalone book by itself. Because I also felt like I didn't want the material of motherhood to get drowned out by all the tea I was dropping.
Well, because it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It would be a lot. It would be too much.
Yeah.
Girl, you did right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, just womanhood itself.
And then talking about my marriage.
A marriage. Whew.
Yeah.
Girl. No, ma'am. We would have been pulling up at the movie theater to watch this play out, because it wouldn't have been a book anymore. We just gonna have a whole movie. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this next statement kind of leads into the piece you wrote about fear. And you and Tiffany talked a little bit about it last night, so I'm not going to get back into it. But I just want to, for those watching who may not know, Caneeka was going to be the rich auntie for everybody else's kids. Okay, this Caneeka here on the screen she didn't well, I mean, I didn't either, but you didn't exist on the college campus of UA. No, ma'am. Caneeka was like, I'm everybody's auntie.
Exactly.
So, but then after reading Fear,
love the babies.
Yes. But I mean, of course, we were like 19 years old. We weren't really thinking about healing and what were the stumbling blocks and what were the apprehensions and things. So in fear, you kind of share some of those, your thought process and things that were leading you to feel like motherhood isn't for me. I'm not about to do this. So I just want to ask, just based off of last night's conversation and the piece that you've written, what would like the healing, arriving, woman rising Caneeka tell college Caneeka?
Oh my gosh. Oh
like,
my god.
I know. I was like, I'm gonna make her cry, but it was just like, we've come up, like that was all, I mean, we're approaching, I mean, a couple of years, give or take, but 20 years ago.
Oh my god.
You know what I mean? I know. Okay. Listen, do not, Caneeka, do not. If
that is crazy.
Don't cry, because then I'll have to oblige your tears. And we are not about to sit on here and do that.
Okay.
But no, I'm just curious, like what if you can, if there's something you can share that you would have said, like you don't have to get too like revealing if you don't want to, but I just thought like, wow, what would she tell that Caneeka?
I guess like, forget the plan.
What plan? What plan?
That's not the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Stop trying to, and then
control and order.
Yeah. Yes. Like, I don't know.
I know it's a lot.
Speak to, because I was like, just thinking about that time, just very broken and like, from what I understand brokenness to look like, I didn't feel broken at the time.
Right. No, you were living. We were good.
Yes. It was amazing. I had a blast. Okay. No regrets. But as far as like my outlook on love, I think there's this plan that's already laid out for me. I'd already created or believed that I was undeserving of so many things. Mm-hmm. And so I guess overall, I would tell her, you deserve and you'll receive more than whatever little box you have laid out in your mind right now. And it's not going to look anything like what you think. And that would cover like insecurities and uncertainty, and the plan that was only the plan because of the insecurities and the uncertainty. Yeah. It wasn't a plan based out of like self-love and
worth
really
and value.
Seeing myself as worthy. Yes.
Girl, that's a whole mouthful. Just imagine like that little box turned into this. Yeah. You almost can't, you know what I mean? Like, wow. And I mean, if we all just like, right? But even in just picturing womanhood now, like, imagine if we all went back and told that girl, her mind would be blown. Yeah. Mind blown. That is,
especially like the perception that you have of your 30s in at 19, 20.
Right.
You're like,
exactly
30. First of all, like, I will never be 30. Like, you just
like, girl, what's 30 in this lifetime?
The 20s.
No,
like,
I'm 21.
Why would I? Like,
exactly.
And it, like, I even remember when we graduated, and one of my friend Desiree, when she turned 25, it was like, and she's a year older, and she was like, "Oh my God, I'm 25 now."
25.
Like,
no, I had to
I had to
come apart.
Enjoy your youth, because 25 is coming.
25 hit different. I think I cried at work, like, Lord, 25. What am I going to do?
Yes, it was like so devastating. Like, I'm in my mid-20s now. Why?
I did. I remember saying, like, I'm having a quarter life midlife crisis.
Yes, the quarter
life crisis. I was at Graphic Packaging. I'm pretty sure me and you were on the phone at some point during one of the...
And it's just so crazy, like, even how you think about, like, expectations and where you should be and what you should be doing according to what other people are doing. In your 20s, there's so much of that.
There's so,
And I just feel like 30s really bust open all of those misconceptions.
Yes, it does.
And you're just like, I don't know, 30s feel like this renewing of womanhood. Like, whoever you thought you were at 19 and through your entire 20s, 30s is like, okay, the grown woman has entered the room. Let's heal and let's love and
and so for everybody
that you do, let's get that uprooted.
There are going to be so many people that read that piece and see themselves, maybe not the same story, but the same fear-based thinking, and not realizing like what I would have withheld from myself, not if I had never got to a point of healing and rising, you know, in my womanhood. So I love that piece, and I can't wait to go back and like really, you know, like read and reflect more about it.
Kiera said 30 feels like a grand rising.
It does, and it also
like
feels
this
like
unearthing.
And there's a
which
lot
is
of
what
like,
I've described this pandemic.
I don't care about like I don't care. I'm 30, you know, 30. I had a birthday.
The care is
it's a different
reason.
Right, exactly. In
your 20s, you're like, I don't care because it doesn't seem like anybody else cares. So maybe I shouldn't care. But in your 30s, it's like, no, I don't care because that's not helping me grow and like be a better woman.
Exactly. It doesn't fit.
Right. We're trying to grow and love ourselves over here. And I don't care about that.
Exactly.
That's not what I'm on. Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Well, now that like that was all just my initial thoughts. Like, oh, she wrote. Okay, ask her about that. So, all right. So we'll get into a few of the pieces, and I know we won't cover them all because I'm looking at the clock. Like, girl, I set Cash down to eat dinner, and I was like, he's gonna be good. I walked back by him to come get on the live. He was done. Sir, you didn't have to.
You were on like borrow, like very.
I was thinking like, oh, he's gonna sit. He loves pasta. I'm like, he's gonna sit here and eat, take his time, girl. I walked by. I was like, boy, you didn't have to wolf it down.
He's like, I heard you were trying to get somewhere, so
right. You know, he doesn't let me. He has a very short rope over here. Okay, so I'm gonna go in number order. At first I was like, oh, organize this. If you're going to talk about the kids, then talk about the kids, then talk about this. But it was easier to just do page number because I was my brain, I cannot. So page 65, let's talk about the playground.
Ooh.
Because I remember this. But people like, I feel like it's one of those shared stories where it's like, this really gives you a glimpse into like the world we have to live in as Black mothers with young like Black children, Black sons. And, I mean, even I underlined the very first line when I found out I was having boys, I was terrified. Now before you explain this to me, I had the same realization one day in the car. I was probably 20 plus weeks happy riding, you know, talking to him, driving, and then all of a sudden I just got buck-eyed and I was like, oh my God, I'm having a boy. I'm gonna have a Black boy. And I was just like, oh, like that immediate moment turned into like I went from joy, you know what I mean? Like I went from joy and just to just panic almost. It was like, oh my God. So talk a little bit about that experience. Let me look at what my notes, like the actual question that I had, so that way you can go ahead and get into it. I think, I just said, tell me more about this experience and how it forced you to like step into the racism talk at kindergarten age. Kindergarten.
So I want to talk about like this question that has been floating around the internet of like, how young is too young to talk to your kids about racism? And it seems like there are white people who are really struggling with this concept of like, well, what should be the time? And Black families have stepped in like 3, 4, like, or like, when should it start? When should you start these discussions? And people are like, my daughter had this experience when she was in preschool, or you know what I mean? Like, my son had this experience in kindergarten. So we don't really get that luxury of like, okay, so when you turn 11, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about the racism. Like, that's not in this world that we live in. And so when I found out I was having a boy the first time, it was like, okay, I had a dream that I was going to have a boy first. And so it was like, all right, we're having a boy. But the second time it was like, okay, wait, we're going to do this twice? Like, again? How am I going to, there's so much that they need to know. And Tiffany and I kind of tapped into like the extra that moms who have boys that we have to consider in like raising and mothering boys, and that like their identity and where they're going to get that from. And you know, if they're in school systems or just walking the earth, the things that they might hear or the comments that people might make. Sheree and I talked about this like offline, that when people you know, speak to the boys or say anything to the boys in public, I'm just like bracing myself every time for somebody to say something just out of line. And it's like, you know, do non-Black families feel that way? Like they just let their kids walk through the store and it's just like, hello. But there's no like, you say hello, are you gonna say something out of line? And I was telling Sheree, like, I think about Amanda Seales. She has this skit where she's like, how Black am I gonna have to get? Like, that's me as a boy mom, because my boys are so friendly and so loving and they see people as people. But I know that people may not. And I had written, like, after Trayvon Martin was murdered, that, you know, people were sharing pictures and hoodies and all of that. And I had this little picture, and Trey was like one, of him in a grocery cart with his little hoodie on. And I was like, you know, how soon will he stop being cute? Because people would come up, oh my God, he's so cute. To when he's like, hey, don't talk. Hey, come on, you know, whatever, don't talk to him. Or what is that timeline like? And so for it to just be 5 years, it was like,
we're here.
Okay, here we are. And then how this, I mean,
and it was a significant situation because there were the consequences that followed. Like, the entire thing was like, whoa. You didn't just tiptoe into the racism. No. This was like a full-on, like, hold on, wait a minute. You're trying to hold my child accountable for an unrealistic threat. Like, what?
Never even happened.
Yeah.
But the acting of, I felt threatened.
Oh,
and that still, like,
that still sends me to this day.
I know. You know, so where did she get that?
Yeah.
And to even learn and know how to use it in a way that could be perceived as, I'm not going to get in trouble if I say this.
Right.
Yes, Tiffany said the language. Yes.
Like, like, in my note I wrote, I remember this incident and it sent me then and it's sending me again. Like, the whole thing. Little girl.
Yes.
The language that was used, how comfortable she felt using it, and then realizing that language was going to get her an outcome at 5.
Yes. Or 7. I think
7.
I wrote 7.
Oh, okay,
it felt
7.
like 5.
It felt like 5, but yeah. But girls 5 and 7, too close. They're close.
Yeah.
But it was just like
the conversation that I had to have with the administration just to get her properly. Yeah. Because I'm like, this is assault. First of all, she attacked my child, but then claimed like that she felt threatened, so she had to defend herself. What? Yeah. We are talking about 7-year-olds.
Yes. Okay? And I mean, and if you know Trey, the word threat and attack, and those don't even belong in a conversation.
No, he cries at like Christmas commercials. You know what I mean? Like, he's just so tenderhearted.
Yes.
But the way that I had to fight just elevated to administration and superintendent and have like a very frank and clear conversation with the principal. Like, you tell me that if, let's say, the roles were reversed, and he was like, he kind of like groaned. I'm like, yes, we're gonna walk through this, sir.
Yep.
Let's say he really did the things to her that she did to him. Is there room for him to say that he felt threatened?
Right.
And he was like, oh, Miss Miller. I'm like, no, because you know what? Y'all would have called whomever. Hell, he could have been in handcuffs.
Hey,
you would have
do it everywhere.
Absolutely, yes, you would have absolutely called someone to have him snatched up and taken away. Yep. And you can't sit on this phone and tell me that you wouldn't. Yeah. And he was just very silent. And so moms, like, that piece is very like personal and like passionate for me, and not only to think about the things that our kids will have to deal with and encounter, but that we have to advocate for them. If I would have just left it, and furthermore, I would have never known. I would have never known. There was no phone call. No one called to say, hey, this happened to your son today. No note. There was no note attached to his shirt, no note in his little binder, nothing. The only way that I knew something had happened is because he came home and said, my friend really hurt my feelings today.
That is so sad.
And I don't know what to do. And I said, oh no, well, what happened? What'd your friend do? And he just in a very 7-year-old way said, you know, I was asking her what was wrong, and she attacked me, essentially. He described how she attacked him, and I was like, she hit you where? Twice? And no one sent, hey, Miss Miller, today there was an incident. But he wasn't even focused on that.
Yeah.
Because he's 7.
Right.
He's
exactly.
Like, why would she do that to me? We've been friends since kindergarten.
On the hurt. Yeah, he was focused on the hurt. As he should have been.
I had to like elevate, and all the godmommies came in, and Marie was like, absolutely not. You know, like, no, because if you let it slide now, even if something, they were like, oh, they're just playing. No,
yeah, we're not giving any room for that to even have a place. And I think it's important for any mom reading to know, like, if it hasn't happened to your child yet, great, but here's a scenario that unfolded that now you have in your mind to think of when things do go down, and it's like, oh, how did, like, it's great for me. My baby just started day school. We haven't run into that yet, but I'm not beyond the fact that it could happen next year. You know, right? Like, who knows? So it's important
that we have to think of other people's intent, but other families don't have to think about that. Listen, you know what I mean? Like, just what do you mean you were threatened? You felt threatened. What does that even mean?
I like how you said intent. It makes me think of the situation with the pictures at school. Recently with Hunter.
Yeah.
And I had to tell the teacher, I was like, you know, you probably haven't thought about this, right? But I have, and you need to be careful with how you're presenting my little black child to the rest
in
of the
classroom
group,
where he's the
only one. And she was like, oh, I mean, she didn't have to think about that, But
Yeah.
I do, because I'm the mother of a Black child. And I was just like, I'm not accusing you or anything. I'm just bringing it to your awareness that, like, hey, you know, imagine if it were, like you said, the roles were reversed and it was your only child, and it was like, oh, I'm going to spotlight them. So she was very, like, taken aback with herself, like, oh my God, I am so sorry. I will make sure. And I was like, yeah. But even then, Hunter's not even 3. And I already had that kind of conversation at school.
We got, the mamas are like, yes, I mean, mamas, absolutely.
Clap back, mommies.
Kira said there's a constant need to always be on guard.
Yes.
Keisha Rose said they learn how to play their role early.
They do, don't they?
Tiffany says, thank God for the autonomy you taught him. Without that, he may have never shared. Yes, and I think about, you know, how important it is for us to build these relationships with our children and really, like, not to see them as humans. That is why that piece about parenting philosophy is so important and in the front, because I need that to be in our minds, especially as you're reading through the collection of how that has shaped my motherhood and how I see my boys. And because of that, I feel like we have this relationship where they feel comfortable enough to share things with me. I just have to work on not, like, losing it in their presence, because then they'll stop sharing things.
See, and then I wrote that these are just thoughts that I had: informative and concerned versus angry Black woman. Like, that's the balance we have to have in our motherhood, because it's like, in that situation, you had to educate, you had to advocate, you had to be a sounding board for your baby, but you could not come off as an angry Black woman.
No. I had to run down statistics. I had to give examples. I had to paint a picture for the leader of the school.
Yes.
Just to, is this girl going to get any kind of consequence? That is the only thing that I was asking for. I'm like,
shout out to Marie, though, because you were definitely coming in blazing. Y'all was about to get the angry Black woman.
Friend is gifted with the word. Like, she's gifted with words in a way that I am definitely not.
Well,
so it is important to have people on the team who
have me do that portion. I would have been the backup, like, we ride to where we going?
That's what I texted her. I was like, I'm about to ride out, but I'm not trying to go to jail. But I know you'll bail me out because you're my best friend. But I'm gonna need some help, because I can't email these people with all the things that I want to say, because that is not gonna be appropriate. And so,
and it's important. Even just now, you said I'm gonna need some help. I'm gonna need some help. And I'm just using people who are in the chat. Kiara's going to need some help.
Yeah.
Tiffany's going to need some help. Keisha's going to, like, that's why that's why this is what it is, because we're going to need some help.
Cherie said change pre-K locations this year. Pre-K.
And did.
Keisha wrote, we've dealt with it multiple times. Just got my son changed out of a classroom. And you know what, Keisha? That, in addition to me requesting the girl have a consequence according to what the handbook says about assault. Right. Because another thing, we have to call the thing what it is. Instead of just saying, oh, my son was hit by another kid. No, my son was assaulted by another kid. Then it becomes like, oh, we start using the terms that you would have used if it were my kid. Yeah, let's use this same terminology. And then you can hear it, because where in adulthood can you just walk up to somebody and share, like, how she attacked him? Where can you go as an adult and do that and just walk away?
You cannot. You cannot. And here's the funny thing. Let's put an age on this.
Yes.
My niece is 30. My mama had to roll up and get her pulled out of a teacher's classroom when she was at Endeavor.
Elementary?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, this ain't new to Black mamas.
Yeah.
We've been pulling kids out of class. We've been pulling kids out of schools, because what you're not going to do.
We have to advocate for our kids.
We have to.
So her getting the consequence, but also like, and by the way, sir, they cannot be I don't want them in the same classroom ever again for the rest of elementary school.
Right.
And he
exactly.
was like, okay. I'm like, not a game. Let this role come up next school year and I see her name in this classroom. Because I'm keeping it cute on this phone with you, but I need you to understand that if I walked up to you today and did to you what she did to him, you would be looking at me side-eye, like real crazy, like, lady, I'm about to get my lawyer. What are you doing?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So put your hands on me. we have to hear and saying, yes, Avengers Unite. Yes.
She said what?
Avengers Unite. Yes.
Yes. These kind though. Not Marvel. These.
Oh, Keisha Rose said, I asked what happened to that little form I had to sign at the beginning of the school about zero tolerance for bullying. Did that kids get the same form or not? Exactly.
Oh, yes.
Are we gonna, is this handbook just something that you guys want to cover your tail, but you don't really want to execute and utilize when it calls to be utilized, or do you want to utilize it when it's somebody else's kid?
Exactly. Where's the benefit lie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, that piece. Sorry.
I knew it. When I got to it, I was like, oh, this is going to have to be a talk point because I already know. I know how I feel about the playground. I need her to discuss that with the people.
Yeah.
Because it's important. It's a very big part of what we will run into as we raise our boys, our kids.
And even in teaching them, because I talk about, motherhood is scary, but love is easy.
Right.
Like, it's easy to love and be the thing that we teach our children. But they're still, even in easy love and them extending love to others, they may not receive that in return. And those are things that we have to consider and be the voice for our children.
Yeah. Oh man, that's deep. That's a deep discussion. Well, thank you for going into some of that detail there and sharing with us how that kind of unfolded for you.
Yeah.
And even Trey. Okay, so let me see so the next place I went to, page 86. I like this one. I'm her. It's me. Everyone in the live, raise your hand. It's me. It's me. I'm her. Oh my gosh. Listen, the first I wrote down.
I have not gotten your books. You got to get your books so you can watch this replay and be able to be like,
yes, because each person has tried so hard. Like, I'm not gonna read it, but man. My note says the first line, exclamation point.
Yeah, so I'll read the first line.
Okay,
Many of my frustrations with my boys are my fault.
Emphasis on my fault. How many times?
That's hard to admit, first of all, that your frustration is because of you.
It is. And then there's a part in here where you said it and I was like, dang, that's me too, man. Poor planner in motherhood.
Yeah.
Raise hands. This is me.
I can't remember if it was like Insta story or Twitter, but I was talking about how this is like, I am still her because the cold front swooped through a couple of weeks ago and my kids came out of the room, not Coley because he gets hand-me-downs, but Trey walked out of the room and I was like, the flood, none of your pants fit. How did we get here? Please.
Oh my God.
Whole wrists are out. I'm like, you need a new wardrobe.
Right.
Well, but you have, we're here now, so
we're here. Right.
Have to wear these tiny pants and these clothes that don't fit today.
These are 3/4 length sleeves. Just kind of go with it. Do that little roll, like
just roll it up. It'll be chic or something fashionable. don't know what to tell you about the pants. They're capris, but
it's hard. I feel like I feel like this is where a lot of the anxiety comes from. Some of us are just not. I can plan, but man, planning and motherhood is a different type. We were talking about this.
Yeah.
I told my friends last week, I was like, I sent them a voice note and I was like, y'all, I need help. I was like, I try to take my baby to school. I don't get to do it often because of my work, requirements, but I was like, oh, I get to take my baby to school and I'm going to be that mom that's in line and we're getting out the car and girl. When I got Hunter to school, to both days, his class wasn't even in the room.
Where they transitioned to like another part of the day.
Like, how am I so late that I get to school and where are the kids? They're in music. They're in music, Miss Jackson. We'll take him down. Okay. They're like, okay. So in my mind, I'm like, tomorrow is a new day. I'm gonna get it right tomorrow. Girl. Same thing. And here, the funniest part is I thought I planned better.
You're like, yes, today is the day.
Today is the day. I'm in the mom group like, I'm like, y'all, what am I doing? How come I can't get my kid to school like everybody else? So they're like, what are you doing? And I was like, washing dishes. breaking down boxes for trash. Like, they were like, ma'am. But that's
let me tell you, some stuff in motherhood has just fallen to the wayside. Like, look, if I'm going to get these children places that they need to go, baby, some other parts of my life is just not gonna be together.
Right. Listen,
the boxes would just, they would have to make the next trash.
Exactly, but that's a part of the planning. Like, the trash runs every week on Thursday. I saw that box last week. I saw that box on Tuesday and Wednesday. But it had to be broken down Thursday morning in the middle of breakfast. I'm like, no. So no, the planning.
Like, at this point, it's next Thursday's box. It's like, okay, you didn't make it this week, but like.
Exactly. I like the way you're going. You got it. It was a great experience. But I just love that, like, reading that piece, man. Every woman, I don't even, motherhood or not, every woman is looking at that going, oh, Jesus, the poor planning in me. And then like, at some point I was like, Hunter, come on, get your shoes on. And
like, something you like, buzz.
Yeah.
And they're like,
realistically, I gave him two minutes to get his shoes and a jacket on when really I needed 20 for that. Like, so you're mad at the wrong person. I need to be mad at me, frustrated at me. So I just love, like, the realness, like, the vulnerability, like you said, to even admit that it's your fault. You put that on paper, like, they're gonna be like, Mommy, you said my fault.
Because I had this moment one day where I was just like reeling inside and talking to Holy Spirit. I'm just like, these children are just and just those moments. I'm just like, I don't understand. They don't listen. They don't do. We were supposed to be here and do this, and no one was acting right, and people were falling out, and then there was a tantrum, and then, like, just very gently, in a way that only Holy Spirit can. Like, it's your fault though.
Right.
And I'm like,
like, how dare you tell me it's my fault, Lord?
And then ever since, in every moment where I feel myself getting frustrated, I hear that small, still voice of, did you do everything that you could have done to not make this moment chaotic?
Yes. And
probably
then
not.
Like,
no, because I'm like running like a wild woman.
Wait, and what did you just say? Make every moment what? What word did you say? Chaotic?
Yes.
So literally every week Tyler tells me this is chaos. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's great for me. And he's like, you're operating. He tells me all the time, you need a plan. But that's hard. Like, I never had to, it's always just been me. I never had to plan.
Yeah.
And that's
a hard first time, like, you first time mamas, listen. That is the hardest transition when you have, like, your first child, because you have lived however many years of life. Just let me run to the store.
Right.
Or I just need to run in here. I'm going to run back out. But then it's like, oh, I'm going to throw this on and go here. But you can still throw whatever you were going to throw on. But then it's like, oh God, I got to get this baby dressed, and baby going to kick shoes off, and did I feed the baby? Because now you got to think about, like, okay, is it eat time? Is it nap time? Am I trying to run this errand at a terrible moment? My day has to be planned around, like, 1 o'clock. I got to be back home. My kids still take naps. So they begin to do the absolute most. And sleepy kids, when they're older, is not going to look the same as, like, toddlers and babies. They just get wild.
See, I'm not there yet.
Then I'm just, like, overwhelmed.
But see, here's the thing. You know what follows all of that? PPA. Like, you know, there's a direct correlation sometimes with some of this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody taught me how to. Nobody sat me down and was like, girl, you need to have it mapped out from start to finish and leave 90 minutes extra. Yes. Because there's going to be a blowout. You're going to have to do a diaper change. You're going to need a new shirt. Your hair is going to get frizzy in the midst of all of this because you sweating now. There's not
get dressed at the very end, first of all.
Yes. And so now you have
anxiety. Someone should have told me this because I'm still thinking, like, no, kid, like, let me get dressed first, and I'm going to get you dressed. Okay, you messed up your outfit, and you messed up my outfit. Now I need a new outfit, but I don't have a new outfit in mind. Like, what?
Or the outfit that you want to wear don't fit because now you got mom boobs, like, mom tummy.
The only thing that I had.
I'm telling you, y'all, this book is going to be like a therapy session for somebody.
Like,
it's going to be therapy for somebody.
And so much of that, I still, like, I got so equipped with, okay, let me do this. Yeah, like, the first thing that the boys have to do when they get up in the morning, like, get yourself together. Because Cole still, he's very particular about what he wears. And so there's going to be a meltdown possibly about pants and shirts and whatever, you know? So I need to build in time for that.
my little person, if you hear or see, my little person has arrived. He can only be gone for so long. But that's what this is. This is motherhood. So hey. But what I do love, like I said, I love that TT said, hey. I love that you wrote that piece because every person's going to read this and literally read the title, I'm her, and it's going to be like, yes, I am. Yes. Yeah. But you come to this, there's a point at the very end where you say, each day is another day to give yourself grace. And I feel like grace is something that you come back to over and over. Yeah. And grace is so funny because we will freely give it to another person, but struggle to find ourselves.
It to ourselves.
Yes. Like what? That right there should be a book in itself. Girl, you deserve grace.
Yeah.
All the time. Every moment of your day.
And I like not? Even in the moments where I am like, oh my God, like a couple weeks ago when my kid was walking out here with capris that were supposed to be pants and quarter sleeve shirts, I had to have a moment like, he wasn't like, oh my God, my pants don't fit. You know, he was just like, I have pants on and I have warm clothes. And, you know, so like, you really have to, the things like, is this so detrimental that it needs to have like your brain and spirit all out of whack? Or is it like, this is what we rocking with today.
Right.
And
exactly.
We'll buy new clothes at some point, you know?
Exactly. Moving on.
Because I'm thankful that he has clothes to wear. Yeah, there was a moment when, you know, we didn't have the money to buy clothes.
Right.
You know? So
clothes are expensive.
They are. And kids grow fast.
Yes, they do. Okay, well, me and you are going to talk offline. You know, I had to hit quarantine day 60.
Oh.
I got a whole page on that one, but I'm looking at the clock like, when did 7:30 turn to 8:53?
These like, time is not the same when you are on live talking about things that you want to talk about.
No, let me tell you, all day
not
long,
the same time.
as I have been getting ready for this live, it was like 17 hours went by. Yes. Now I get on the live and it's like slow down, time. Yes. Yeah. Okay, well, here's another one that really, when I read it, I was like, oh, girl. There was one day, like, if you could have said this to me in the day that I was having, I would have been like, thank you. I needed that. Page 100. Go to time out. Listen. I read this and I was like, did she talk about me? You wrote that for me. Mm-hmm. Go to time out. Yes. Go to time out. Now, let me make sure this is for us. Yes?
Yes.
We're not talking. Okay, thank you. Listen.
No.
Yes. I had for the mamas. I had a really, we've all kind of embraced this new, gentle, conscious parenting. Mm-hmm. We want to do that for our kids. It was very instinctual for me too. Day one, it was kind of like, of course. Mm-hmm. But I didn't realize, like, in hindsight, of course, looking back, I'm like, wow, I was really experiencing mom rage because I had these unmet needs that were very triggering. Mm-hmm. And there was one day in particular that I saw myself with different eyes, and I was like, oh my, like, I didn't hurt anybody, mm-hmm. but I was watching myself lose control, and I was like, girl, what's wrong with you? And I had to sit, like, that day was the last day I saw myself go where I was going.
And I think this is one of the pieces that I wrote during the pandemic, because I completely unraveled.
The pandemic this was during the pandemic too. This is why I hit quarantine day 60, because listen, quarantine day 12 was cute. Oh, we're gonna make muffins this morning. Oh, great pancakes. Oh, quarantine day 60. So then when I hit go to timeout, I was like, yes, because this was probably dead May, June. We'd have been through a couple of months. It's feeling real heavy and thick. And I was like, what is wrong with me? But I needed a timeout. I needed to go and remember that my little person, who was really a year and a half when pandemic hit, he was like 13 months old. Mm-hmm. So I mean, at this point, he's almost a year and a half, and he's a little person. Yeah. Why was I expecting him to manage whatever it was?
Right.
What? So so this was, when I read this, I was like, wow, there's me, and there's another mama who needs to see that you need to pull it together. Mm-hmm. Listen,
and sometimes, like, the things, like, just like what we were saying, like, the mm-hmm. things that send us into this mm-hmm. don't really matter at the end of the day. Like, I'm like, clean your room. Right. But especially during this time, like, being in a pandemic, mm-hmm. I've had to really check myself on, like, what is your deal with this room being clean all the time? Yeah. They're kids. Like, what is this? Mm-hmm. And it's like this control, like, what can I control in a time that feels so out of control?
Yes. Rough.
So Kiara said postpartum rage was a very large portion of my postpartum experience. It was scary at times.
Yes, Kiara, I'm telling you, there was one. Let me just tell you what I did, because it's not harmful. I slammed the door, okay? Mm-hmm. But I nearly took that door off the hinges the way I said. And I was like, whoa. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. You cannot be that mad about this. But I really was. But I needed, like I said, had you been on my phone and been like, girl, you need a timeout. Mm-hmm. I would have been like, yes, I do. Where can I go? I realized I was hungry. Yeah. I hadn't eaten. I needed a break. My husband works for the government. He was on the clock on his computer. Yeah. It cannot time out while he is working. Yeah, right. And then we were probably like day 87 in the pandemic. Yeah. And I'm like, Kiara, I had never it's me. I don't get that kind of angry unless you you gotta really take me there.
I mean, like, really.
Really.
And even in times when you should be that angry, and I'm like, girl.
I'm never
not.
I am the epitome of not rising to the occasion when I'm supposed to. Girl, you mad about what now? I don't ever. So when I saw myself in that level of angry, that I was like, what in the world? So yes, mommies, if you are dealing with rage, if you haven't figured out your trigger points, if you don't know what sets you off, please identify it. But then also read page 100 and take yourself to a timeout. So what's your timeout? What do you do?
Now, especially like now that we're in a pandemic that doesn't seem like it wants to end. I've had like therapy is my timeout.
Oh yes.
I meet with my therapist twice a month, and so listen, y'all, my therapist was gone for a few weeks. She was on vacation. And I realized this is recent me. Like, this ain't a couple months. Like, this, I'm talking about a couple weeks ago, she was gone out of the country and I could not see her. And I was like just snappy and like everything was just in sky, and the boys were like, what is going on with you? Like, you're not usually like this. And I realized that I did have not had my time out, which and I'm like, listen, I have to talk to her. And oftentimes we don't even talk about my like motherhood experience, the things that I was like just easily agitated about. It's not the things that I talk, but just having that time to talk about whatever calms me and like really just refreshes me for whatever I need to tackle in between time, you know. Prior to, so I've been meeting with her since September of last year, but prior to that I had to hey, you guys, I'll be back. I made a little sitting area in my closet. So I have like this cushion seat and like vision board, and tried to make my own little like nook of, even when my closet was much smaller, I was still like carving out.
You were in your
this corner is for me to just.
The funny thing is, there a lot of mommies talk about their closet.
Yes. Yeah. Whether it's like, you know, the closet, like I'm going to my closet in my mind, I'm gonna just need some time, or like an actual space that you escape to. But yeah, like we need those moments in that time. And even like when the boys were small, I would sit them in their little bouncy room, or like the jumper rooms, like put them in that and go sit in the bathroom and just breathe. Like, I know that you're okay. You're within earshot where I can hear you, but I need a moment.
Yeah. Listen, the garden was my timeout.
Oh, yeah. And then
so many days
turned into such a beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, can you come and start a garden for me?
Listen, like, so many of those, like those hot days when I would be watering and the water would just be hitting back on me, just feeling the water on my face and just being in the, like, literally grounding outside would bring me back. And I was just like, everybody needs to identify their timeout. Period. What's your timeout? Take it when you need it.
Keisha Rose said, postpartum rage is a combination of exhaustion, hormones, and unmet needs, or often unrealistic expectations.
Yes. And then here I am, the two. I'm a 2, right?
Oh,
twos
yeah.
Twos don't have needs. What?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's
or how to even express them, like needs that I have, but how do I tell people that, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. Like, how do I share that I
two.
really need a moment? I cannot clean another thing.
And by two, we're talking about the Enneagram.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry,
So it's
guys.
a type of personality test.
Yes.
That you can take online and see, similar to Myers-Briggs, but is really cool. So.
It is really cool. I've learned so much about, okay, that's another conversation, but I've learned so much about myself.
Yeah.
Which is great, though, at a time like this, because in your book talks about always arriving. We're never at our end point.
Yeah.
So in my arriving, learning my personality type has been very, very good for me, especially as a mother.
And yeah, I was going to say, and even like having that knowledge of your personality helps mother in a like different way, you know.
Yes.
Like I know this about me, so I can recognize like my triggers sooner and when I need like what the thing is, especially when you look at like the extremes of like, you know, the ends of the personality.
I know Keisha right now is going over a one's task list. I know she is. She's like, yep, check.
Karen said, I'm thankful for the online motherhood community because once I was able to identify what was happening, it helped so much. Oh, and she said your gardening journey has been so beautiful to watch. Oh, I would love to start my own, but I'm too scared of snakes. Okay, girl, Kiera, those snakes in Texas, it's too much.
It's too much. Kiera already knows. I told her one day there was a snake in my garden and I couldn't go out there for like 2 weeks. Nope. No, everything out there is going to have to just die because I'm not going back. No more tomatoes. Whatever.
They just hear about a garden and they just show up? Or was it like a gardening snake or like a totally different kind of snake?
It was raining and it was like maybe he was trying to get out of what was wet. No. He came from I don't know. No. Wherever he came from, he needed to go back to and fast. Like even I sent Tyler outside and he was like, "Oh no, that's a snake."
No, okay,
it was a snake.
Never mind. I'll keep my little plants that are in the house.
Girl.
Keisha said you're too loud, Alicia. Talking about her checklist.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll keep that between you and I, girl. Okay.
I'm
gonna do one more, but I'm gonna have to debate. You tell me. I'm gonna tell you my 3, and you tell me which one you want to talk about. Okay. So there's page 112. Table for 4. There is I know. There's pillow talk, page 131.
Oh.
Right. And then the mic drop for me was page 139. On a roll.
Listen, okay, I want to talk about Table for 4 because it makes me weepy. But I was
about to say
I'm gonna read Honor Roll because it is like tiny with a punch.
It is tiny. And that's what I'm saying. You could have just called it mic drop, and it would have been all I needed to see. Put that on a shirt.
Yes, this one was like I wrote in my notes to myself, and that was it. And every time I kept revisiting it, like, should there be more? Should there be more added to this?
No.
Are you a finished piece? Would you like more lines?
This piece wrote itself. This piece was like, period.
2 lines.
Period. I'm done. You know the little
like move on, girl. Yeah.
With the guy that goes and
Yeah.
You could have added that picture to the page.
I'm done.
And yeah. So yeah, you can go ahead and read that one for the friends.
So this is called Honor Roll. And it says, your growth is not a group project. Stop seeking acceptance.
It's like
I feel like we want to, like, when we're healing and like growing and coming into, different spaces of our womanhood, and we want other people to see it the way that we see it.
Oh
And
my gosh.
sometimes people are offended by it.
Yes.
You know, like they're not going to be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
girl, look at you growing and healing."
Right. Some people
Sometimes
will
they may be like,
they will choose to not see, like,
yes,
it can be intentional. I choose not to see that.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like just it being titled honor roll, like, you know, there's this thing in us, especially as mothers, like we're like, have you noticed that I am raising a small human and I am doing all of the things?
Yes.
I don't
I
hear.
go
I
to
tell
hot
boys all the
yoga.
time when I start like giving my sermons. I be like, I'm preaching better than y'all saying amen. They be like, amen. But yeah, like there's this like, I need to be accepted, and I need, you know, I need to make the list.
Yeah, yeah,
And
exactly.
the list is at the hands of other people that it shouldn't be at. So we stop looking at other people for
exactly. It's not, man,
that validation.
Group project right there. I mean,
yeah,
it was just, I was like, wow, mic drop. I love it. I love it. Okay, yes. So take me to table 4 because I'm with you. I read it once and then I was like, I can't read it again. And honestly, I was really terrified to even get into this book because I didn't want to face my own feelings. Like I was like, no, I don't even want to, I can't. But some of these pieces it'll make you show up for yourself and you're like, oh my God. But table for 4 is
table for 4 I wrote in the opposite setting. So this setting speaks of a very empty and quiet and almost lonely and longing type of place.
My mommy heart can't even take it.
Literally at a table where people were dropping food and it was loud and I hadn't eaten, and I kept thinking like, I just want to eat. That's it. I don't want to deal with your tantrum. I don't want to hear your complaints. I don't really want to be bothered. I just want to eat. Can I do that? But the only thing that kept coming in my mind was one day I'll sit at unusually quiet tables and eat my food uninterrupted.
And I'm going to hate it
and then I just started
so much.
crying. I was like, I don't want to. So, yeah, like, and then I just had to allow myself to go there with just, what is that going to look like? What is it? What is being an empty nester going to look like? And I began to think about like my aunt, you know, the girls are grown now and like they're out on their own.
They flew that nest.
Yes. And her like just sharing this, like, I kind of built my life around the girls, and now that they are starting their own lives, like I have to like get to know myself all over again and reintroduce myself to my husband. And I think I thought a lot about that in that time. And even my mom, like, you know, me and my sister were grown and doing, you know, our thing. And it's that at some point, because life is linear, we will, you know, our boys will graduate and go to college, or if they want to, or you know what I mean? Like,
I know.
But no, in that moment, it was wild times, and I was just like, you know, really annoyed with the, you know, what I was being dealt in that moment. And
but even the mom
spirit just really checked and was like, oh, don't worry, one day it won't even be like this. And then I'm like, no.
I've had those moments. I know we talk a lot about like the grief.
and marry someone.
And girl, no, nobody's getting married. Stop.
That video where it's like moms are like crying.
Yes, listen, and what I hate, I didn't know there was going to be so much grief in motherhood. You know, like people only talk about like, oh, these milestones, and just wait till they start doing this and wait, and then they start, and you're like, nah, I wasn't ready for him to start not. Because then you see like, oh, he started doing this, but then what did he stop doing?
Right.
And the stop doing is like, oh, I don't know if like, yes, it needed to happen, but I don't know that I was ready to.
No.
And so, yeah, a lot of times, like Hunter, of course, he nursed for so long. He still, like, he wants to curl up in my lap. He wants to put his hand on my shirt. And some days I'm like, oh, yeah. But then, like, one day he's not going to come get in my lap, and I'm going to be so hurt by that. You don't want to sit in my lap? No, mommy. Like, you know, like that's going to happen. So anyway, Table for Four, I think I read it like 3 times, and I just kept going back to I will mourn that time and miss it terribly. I was not ready for, like, I feel like there's just so many good nuggets in here, like new moms, seasoned moms, sisters, aunties, like if you're a friend of a mom. I was going to say, I saved this part for you because I was like, this is going to make Caneeka cry because it made me cry thinking about it. Don't cry. Get a tissue. I'm about to cry.
I've had a box by my side with all 4 of you.
I'm gonna cry. Going through this book. I know. So, okay, Trey's 10, yes. Just want to make sure I get ages and things right. He's 10. Oh my gosh. You were probably, I would say, like, in that the best friend, close friend realm, the first to have like children.
Yeah.
And recently I saw that meme that said, to those who became mothers before me or who had kids before me, like, I'm sorry I didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And when I read that, you were the first image I got in my mind because I watched you become a mom.
Yeah.
And at the time I was like a year removed from grad school, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I was 26, 27 when I had Trey.
So maybe 2 years or something like that. So fresh out of grad school, back home in Huntsville, single.
Yeah.
And just trying to find my footing. And then you were married for a couple years.
Yeah.
Had a baby. And even the little things that I thought I was doing that was like, it was so grand to me, may have not even been a drop in the bucket. You know what I mean? Like, thinking about
like,
motherhood.
I wanted us to talk. I figured we would talk about this last because we probably get off.
Right.
Yes, like, I've mentioned throughout like these talks the importance of like a village and community and having friends to support you on your motherhood journey and like really show up for you. It doesn't have to be like this pomp and certain, you know, like, but yeah, and also at the time that I had Trey, we had so many transitions like happening in our life. Like, Scott left his job and started the business, and financially we were just like living off of one income while he built that. And then like everything that comes with like marriage after you have a baby, which
gosh. That's a whole
separate.
That's a whole thing.
I mean, it was one of those like, we don't make it because this is a lot, you know? And people just like showing up in a way that they could, but like you showed up, like physically showed up for me. And like, I even thought about like, even just thinking about those early years and how hard it was. I also, like, God reminded me that you and your mom were there for me after I had my miscarriage.
Yes, I remember being on the phone. Like, you called me. And even
like coming to your mom's house. And I was still bleeding and didn't realize that it was just like a continuation and just not prepared. Like I just didn't have enough of the things. And your mom gave me a towel and just things to get me to be able to get home, you know, and like just looking back and recognizing like how hard that was for me to just like, one, like I'm having a miscarriage, and I didn't realize that in the process of having a miscarriage, it is like a very long, like week long type of bleeding, you know? But to even have to like get over myself and admit to somebody else, like, I think that I'm bleeding through my clothes and I need something to be able to get home while picking up my baby. Or, you know what I mean? Like, so it just, those moments on like the journey of motherhood are so critical and important. And like on the other side, it seems like, oh, it probably wasn't anything like, you know, I wish I could have done more, or maybe it wasn't enough, but it was like, I'm so thankful for
so happy to
you
hear
and your family and the way that you guys like were my family away from my own.
I was happy to, you know, I have so many pictures. Like Trey was my baby too. Trey was my baby. Because at one point I didn't think, I was like, maybe I'm not having kids, so I'm gonna just share Trey with Caneeka. But like, I just even think back to like, there are so many nights that we shared a meal together, and I, you know, like thinking now as a mom, like what that would have done for me. It's like, wow, did it do that for her? Or, you know, like it's just amazing to think about it now that we're both in this motherhood journey together. At the time, I had the gravity of things didn't weigh the same. And so, and then there even came a time where like I really had some regret because some stuff started happening in my life and I could no longer extend myself in that manner. And I was like, I had to sit with that for some time. Like, you know, what did I just do? But it was like, I don't know if I have anything, you know, like where can I fill in the gap? It is, it's been a long journey. But it's been a beautiful journey.
Super appreciative.
Yes. Well, I love you, and I love the boys, and I'm so glad
they love their tea, Alicia.
My boys. Oh, toodles.
Yeah. I think I still have love the way we love and show up for each other. Yes.
It's important. You have to have it. Nobody. If you're walking through motherhood by yourself, kudos, and I'm praying for you, because how?
But we're not meant to, I think, you know, where like in the Bible it says like man is not meant to be alone. I don't like woman, we're not meant to be alone on this journey. Like so many women, it just in every space of this world have people helping them.
And I even just, Audie's in the live, or has been, and I'll even say she's not a mom, but the way Audie shows up, even for me, like there have been times that she has said something in my messages and I'm just like, she didn't even know. Thank you. Like I needed to hear that, or like, thank you for seeing me, because sometimes you just need to feel seen. And it doesn't have to always be by another mother, but another woman could see you and be like, yes, I got you, girl. It's so important. Well, I had no idea that I had 2 hours worth of alive in me. Girl, I hope we got an award tonight. This need to be on the honor roll for real.
Hey.
Hey. Well, if you guys, and I mean, there are going to be people watching the playback, you can already, just over the last couple of tours, you can see how important this collection is going to be for a lot of Black women and women in general. And not even just women. There are partners out there, men, uncles, who may need to be tapping in, because understanding how to support a woman in her womanhood, in her motherhood is important. And support comes from many different people. So
one of my early readers was a guy, and he, like, I mean, our friends since forever, and his feedback was just like to hear. It was important for me to have a guy's perspective, just like you're Black, you got a Black mama and grandmothers and siblings that you love.
Exactly.
And so I wanted him to read through and just, you know, how do like these experiences and words make you feel as a guy. And his feed
I'm so happy.
His feedback was just everything. So I'm thankful to him for that. So yes, like, I think it's definitely not a book for your children. Okay.
Right.
I have to keep
keep
for your kids.
Yes. Keep making
But
that
if you want to share it with your partners, then I think they would enjoy it as well.
Yes, they would. So yes, everyone, please get a copy, get two, purchase for your friends. Stocking stuffers.
Christmas is coming.
Yes, you are going to find yourself making notes. It's not going to be a pretty book when you get done with it, because I was like, ooh, highlighter, ooh, a pen, sticky note, like everything. I think Hunter has already drawn a house in my book. You know, he's all about houses these days. There's a house. There's a house in here. But yes, I have loved getting to know this book, and I cannot wait to continue reading and really getting deep into this. And then come on, book club, let's do that.
Kira said the Aquarius is going to get this entire live during our road trip to Alabama tomorrow.
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
well,
the
send
book
him our
is
love.
on Amazon.
I'm so excited.
You can
Congratulations
get your copy
again.
on Amazon.
Yes, congrats. You had a beautiful launch, a beautiful book tour. It's just
it's
beautiful to see
Tiffany.
you.
Thank you so much for popping in. I appreciate
beautiful to see you in this manner. Like I said, I know
Thank you.
I know the rich auntie Caneeka.
Yeah.
So to see the motherhood woven Caneeka is like, it's like, what? So I'm proud of you. Congratulations. And like Tiffany said last night, you are a light. I think everybody has said it. Kayla, Cherie, everybody, you are a light. This book is going to touch somebody, going to heal, like somebody's going to get some healing. It's going to be redemption for somebody, therapy for somebody. Somebody's going to walk boldly into their womanhood because of this. So thank you.
Thank you. I think welcome. There's a question in, let's see. Okay. No, not a question.
Not a question?
Well, like a troll.
Gotcha. Are you going to get the book, troll? Or
I mean, I hope that you stay to the end and click this link.
Yes.
And
I know. I love it.
Pass out a copy to somebody.
Yes. Stocking stuffers for everyone. Okay. So we have officially done a 2-hour live. Oh my gosh.
See?
And Cash let me finish it. I mean,
because he loves his TT.
Yes, he does. And Daddy had to do a diaper change in here. Nobody even saw that. See? Sorry if you go back and edit and there's things in the background. Anyway, it was good seeing all the comments coming through. I'm happy that y'all joined for just a little while.
Thank you so much for coming. All of the live replays I have saved on YouTube, so I will share a post and link it with the link in bio, so that if you missed any of them and you want to watch them, it'll probably be like 3-5 hours.
Yes, get you some popcorn.
Yeah,
get some popcorn. Run a bath.
Road trip. Kira has a good idea. Listen while taking a road trip. Yes, cover 5 hours of just great conversation and tears. So
exactly, and lots of laughter, because laughter, I couldn't live without it. I couldn't.
Yes. Well, thank you, Alicia. I love you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you.
You're welcome, girlfriend. We'll talk soon,
All right,
I'm sure.
guys.
Have a
Yes.
good night. Bye, everybody.
Bye.